cheers to you, Ryan Leonard.
How about it?
I mean, what a likable kid, number one. Number two, it's like the first day of school, and there are those kids that kind of go wallflower and off this side, and then there's the guy who's out there cheering everybody on.
You know, I mean, you and I have seen enough of these mic'd up episodes to know that, 3 times in 4, they come off a little flat. Like, NHL players don't often give you a ton at these moments, but here's a genuine display of a guy. And I mean, let me start by saying this. Coach's dream. Set aside the skating ability in that shot. And by the way, that shot, I think about 3 out of 4 times he shot it, you can hear the ping of the post. The kid cuts it pretty fine.
Right.
But the point I'm making is coach's dream, because the enthusiasm, the willingness to engage, inspire, even, cajole his teammates. I mean, that creates an energy and a buzz in practice that coaches just love to see. So you don't often get that from a top-end prospect, but kudos to the U.S. National Development Program. There's another gem coming out of that program.
And as a top 10 pick, you know that there's a tremendous amount of pressure and scrutiny. And instead of going inward on that, here he is out there cheering on his teammates. We know hockey is the ultimate team sport, but you can speak to the fact that that brings energy, because you don't typically, of course, the Vegas Golden Knights are the exception because they even have sold-out practices. But in general, you got to bring the juice to the rink. He's bringing it.
No, he really is. And that too, Tony, you make this point, and I think you make it well. It's at a time when the average prospect would walk into a situation like that and be somewhat withdrawn, be, a little isolated, just focus on your own game. You can tell it's authentic, it's genuine, it's in his nature to engage his teammates, to draw them into, the spirit of good, healthy competition, a great workout at, really a critical step in every prospect's journey. It shows a lot of self-awareness, awareness of others. It's very, very fun to watch.
From pick number 8 to the great 8, we can't talk about the Caps without acknowledging Alex Ovechkin and his chase for history. But this is a team that wants so much more than that. This is not about simply racing after one of the great statistical achievements in the history of sport, all sport. It's about this team wanting to be competitive. And that division they're in, boy, have you got to be good to be competitive.
Yeah, and you can look at just about every member of the Metro and point to 2 or 3 ads and make the case that Pittsburgh, for example, they're going to take a run at finding one of those top 8 spots in the Eastern Conference. There was a dip for these Capitals last year, fell short of expectations, but I'll tell you what, Tony, you go down that roster and you look at those top 9, those first 3 lines, and you could stack that up against just about any other set, any counterpart across the Metro Division and beyond, and make the case that the Caps are on the way back. Max Pacioretty, should he be healthy, is a really nice add. That could be a real boon, without question.
Over 300 missed games. We call that the man game statistic. Health is really a huge part of that, is luck, or the lack of luck. And boy, did that team have more than its share of crippling injuries. And I think about Ovechkin and the way he handled all of the attention and scrutiny and hype about getting into the 800-goal club, and now as he's chasing Gretzky. But this is a guy who, and there was that false narrative that was so troublesome for so many years, this guy's a selfish player. We know he's not. We know he wasn't. And when he won the Cup, that exercised all those demons. Can this team be competitive this coming year? You mentioned the top 9. Very impressive.
Oh, very impressive. And yet the answer to that is resoundingly yes, in my estimation. To your point about Ovechkin, what was perhaps maybe a misunderstood quality early in his career, we as analysts now point to his DNA and the way he plays the game. He's just simply driven. He's just simply driven.
Yes,
he brings the rest of the group along with him. But Kuznetsov in the center, Tom Wilson perhaps on the right side. I mean, that's a formidable starting 3 for any group out there. And again, as a second line, Pacioretty, Backstrom, TJ Oshie on the right side, a third line comprised of Milano, Strome in the middle, Anthony Mantha as your third line right winger. I mean, again, that's a very deep top 9, and that's got to leave a lot of the rest of the Metro going, wait a minute, put a little context around what the Caps did last year. They were banged up badly, and to some core guys from the drop of the puck to start the 22-23 season. If they're healthy to start the year, given the way they're made up, that's a team that's going to compete for a top spot.